You're listening to the No Bullshit Vegan Podcast, episode 197. I'm sharing the last installment of my recent round of free strategy calls with 2 awesome email subscribers looking to optimize their strength training and plant-based protein intake.
Welcome to the No Bullshit Vegan Podcast. Myth-busting and evidence-based advice to help you kick butt with your health and fitness on a vegan diet. Here's your host, Karina Inkster.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Karina, your go-to no BS vegan fitness and nutrition coach. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm just coming down from the high of co-directing my city's 4th annual Accordion Fest, which honestly I think was the best one yet. We had 2 sold-out shows. We had more than 30 accordionists at all of our workshops. We had an 11-piece accordion band from Victoria that opened for one of our shows. Just tons of positive energy all around. We had attendees travel across the country to be there, and one of our guest accordionists even traveled from Australia to join us and to perform and lead a workshop. So if you're curious or you want to check out some photos, go to accordionfest.com. So now I'm coming back to my main gig of kicking people's butts and myth busting in nutrition and fitness, and, general vegan world domination. And I have 2 strategy calls to share with you today. A few months ago, I opened up my schedule to awesome folks on my email list, and each person got a free 20-minute strategy session where they could chat about whatever they wanted, creating an effective workout plan, brainstorming vegan meal prep, calculating protein requirements, anything goes. So huge thank you to the folks who booked in and were open to sharing our conversations on the show. And this is our 4th and last installment of those strategy calls. And by the way, if you're not yet hanging out in my little corner of the internet and getting my newsletter, which is the only way to get free coaching calls plus other giveaways, head to our show notes at nobullshitvegan.com/197 and sign up. First up, I'm sharing my call with Anna. She wanted to brainstorm some strength training options that would fit with the other activities she does, which includes MMA fighting and Pilates. And she also wanted to chat about protein requirements. All right, so tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in our time together. So I know you mentioned workout program.
Yeah.
And there's possibly more things on the agenda.
Yeah. So right now, I currently have 3 activities that I do per week that I really love. So I train one-on-one with an MMA fighter, and I love that.
Nice.
And
That's
I
awesome.
do 1 dance class a week, and I also love reformer Pilates, so I do that once a week.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted to incorporate heavier lifting. I turned 40 this year, and I just want to age well, and I know that that's really important. And I'm doing these kind of more cardio heavy things, like with the dance class and the MMA fighting. So I want something I want to do more weights.
Mm-hmm.
And so I signed up for this gym that's 1 block away from my house. It takes me 2 minutes to walk there, and it's this
amazing,
gorgeous
good call.
facility. And I had a trainer there, and she was wonderful. And so she put together this little program for me. We did twice a week. I would do 1 with her and then 1 on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then she moved away.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, she set me up with another trainer who was also wonderful. And this one she was plant-based. She was plant-based. It had never eaten meat in her life. She had been born into a plant-based family. Yeah, and I loved her. And then she moved away.
Ah.
I know.
Dang. Right. Okay, so you still have a membership to this awesome gym.
Yeah.
You have other activities, MMA, Pilates, etc., that you've got basically covered, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like the main thing is, what's your plan for lifting, however many days a week you want to do, on your own?
Yes.
At the gym?
Yes.
Okay. So given the 3 days that you're already doing, do you have an idea? Is it something we're going to brainstorm, or do you already have an idea of what you want your training week to look like?
Yeah, so I would ideally like to go and lift 2 days a week. Right now, I'm kind of going 1, but it's mostly because I'm bored. It's not that I can't go another one. It's just that I'm finding it really boring. And I'm just doing the program that I had been set up with before. Also, I go every Sunday, and I am so sore. at like the next day or the next 2 days. And I don't know why, because I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm not increasing weight. I'm just really, really sore. I don't know why my body's doing that.
That's a good question. I mean, you're an active person, so you're not
Yeah.
starting from scratch here, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. There's a lot of factors. It could be that it's fewer times a week potentially, and you're just trying to cram all of the lifting into fewer sessions, and then your muscles are like, what the hell are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Possibly. Or it could just be that it's so different from the other activities you do. Your body's still getting used to it potentially. But there's so many variables. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so if you were to go twice a week and then 3 days a week doing other activities,
Yeah.
how long are you usually at the gym? Or how long is reasonable for you on those 2 sessions?
About an hour.
Okay. Well, there's a lot you can do in an hour. An hour is like the longest time I would spend in a gym, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I normally don't spend an hour there. Like it'll be a whole hour, like the whole production, the whole leaving my place and warming up and changing.
Got it. Okay. Got it. The whole production. I like that. Leaving your place, walking there, getting ready, doing your warm up, lifting, leaving the gym, going back to your house in an hour. Yeah. Okay.
That's an hour.
That's reasonable. Yeah. Okay. So for people who are doing 2 days a week, we normally recommend doing a full body workout every time. So is that kind of what you're doing right now?
That's what I'm doing.
All the major muscle groups? Okay. Perfect. Excellent. And then do you have any like specific skills or specific lifts for MMA or for any other activities that you're doing? Or is it just kind of all around strength at this point?
Yeah, all around strength. And I would say like a focus on legs, because I just want my legs to be strong. And I don't know, dancing, like doing cardio, and it's not doing it. Yeah.
You're not alone there. There's a lot of people who are like, well, there's people on the side of, oh, I run a lot, so I don't have to train my lower body, like with lifting, right? And then there's the other people who are like, I do all these sports and it's just not enough. Like it's not getting the results I want, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the answer in both scenarios is you got to lift heavy shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously that's part of the deal. Okay, so then you probably have like what, 40 or 45 minutes of actual lifting time, probably 40 if you're doing a quick warm up. There's a lot you can do in that time. So probably between 6 and 7 moves. Are you kind of doing the 3 sets, 10 reps type of scheme? Does it mix?
Yeah.
Does it mix up?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Perfect. Yeah. That's very standard, best of both worlds, strength and endurance, muscle gain, body composition, all those things, right? When you get really, really heavy and you're only lifting a weight like 3 times, then we're putting ourselves more at risk for injury.
Okay.
And then if you're getting into like lighter weights, but you have to do 35 reps, it's just boring, first of all.
Yeah, no.
And
We're
it
not
takes
doing
forever.
that.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 10 reps is like totally fair, like happy medium, bang for your buck. Makes sense. Okay. So that's something, I mean, I could throw together like a sample plan, right? So there'd be 2 different sessions. So I'd make sure you're not doing the same workout on both of those days. So day 1, here's the moves. Day 2, here's the moves. Do you have any moves that are off the table? Injuries, etc.?
No, I mean, I really hated single leg lunges, but I'll still do them.
Sometimes we got to do a little bit of what we hate because we know it's good for us, but you don't want to hate your whole session though.
Exactly.
So there's got to be some fun stuff.
Upper body, just like, I don't know, it feels good to me. Lower body is work.
That means you're doing it right though.
Okay, that's good.
If leg day, I mean, we're not doing leg day at this point, although you might at some point, if you want to increase the times that you're training in a week, you could do like upper body, lower body, but we're usually doing 2 of each in a week in that case.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, if training legs is really, really hard, you're doing it properly.
Okay, good. Because it is really hard. And then I'm always really sore.
Well, that might be something to experiment with though, because you don't want your lifting day to negatively affect your next workout.
Yeah, so that's always kind of a thing.
Yeah, you don't want to get to the point where you have to like miss your next session or you can't walk upstairs. Like the dysfunctional level of soreness. We don't really want to go there. So it might just be experimenting with intensity, ramping it up slowly, even though you feel like you can do more.
I'm not ramping it up. I'm just doing I do 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps of like
that seems reasonable.
barbell back squats.
Yeah.
So that's 45 for the bar and then 10 on each side. And that's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm doing, not increasing the weight. That's all I'm doing. And I'm so sore every Monday. I'm so sore.
Oh man. So how long has that been the case? Like how long have you been doing that particular workout on a Sunday?
Since June?
Oh, so it's been a while.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
mean, there are times in there where I've had to take like a 2-3 week break or something if I had to go on a trip or
Mm-hmm.
something. But yeah, so that weirds me out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. And I'm assuming here your nutrition is on point, you're sleeping well, like all of the recovery type
I would say
aspects.
yes. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know about nutrition being on point, but I try.
Well, sure. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're all aiming for like 80%, right? There's no
Yeah.
such thing as
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really hard to overtrain, but it's really easy to under recover. So
Okay.
all the things I'm supposed to be doing for recovery, like
Mm-hmm.
the hot tub and the ice pack on the shoulder that's annoyed and the mobility work and the yoga and the sleeping properly. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot and it's not exciting. It's kind of boring actually, but it's super important. Anyway, so that maybe is a variable, but it's hard to say at this point with fairly limited info.
Yeah.
But you might want to play around with like, I don't know if it's going to work with your schedule,
Mm-hmm.
but it could be worth doing a shorter workout, but 3 of them instead of 2. So
Okay.
like the whole production, make it take 35 minutes instead of an hour.
Okay.
So maybe you're lifting for 20,
Okay.
but 3 days a week.
Hmm. Okay.
Potentially. I mean, it's got to be logistically feasible, right? But
Yeah.
just a random idea that your muscles will have more chance to recover and they're not going to be completely trashed in 20 minutes. There's a lot you can do in 20 minutes, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be like lifting for 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how about I follow up with a sample workout plan? So this is kind of what we would do for clients if they're going to lift 2 days a week, 40-ish minutes at the gym, like
Mm-hmm.
focusing on lifting. We make sure it covers all the basic movement patterns, and there's 6 of them: squat, hinge, which is a deadlift,
Yep.
lunge, upper body push, upper body pull, and a weighted carry. And there's variations of all of those, obviously, but we want to make sure that you're doing, if it's twice a week, pretty much all 6 movements every time you're in the gym. Then if you want to experiment, you could break that into 3. So just take a couple moves from workout A and a couple moves from workout B, and that becomes workout C,
Okay.
right? So that could be something to experiment with.
That sounds amazing.
Follow up with that. Cool. Okay. So you also wanted to talk about protein. Is that right?
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, is it just that I just suck at eating protein? Like, is that what's going on?
Well, I don't know. You're plant-based, somewhere on the plant-based spectrum, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the deal? Fully vegan?
Not fully, trying to get there, not fully
Okay.
vegan, but 90 something percent.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And is that like long term for you? Is that kind of new? Where are you at?
No, it's been like 6 years.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not a newbie to that
Not
either.
a newbie. No.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about what your current really concentrated protein sources are.
Okay. Oats in the morning with peanut butter, and then I sprinkle on some hemp hearts on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think my lunches might be on the lower side. I always have some kind of salad, but usually they'll have some like chickpeas or little crispy lentils or some kind of legume in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then for dinner, I always make either like a chili or with beans or a lentil stew of sorts. Or like right now, I have this quinoa stuffed squashes I made. And then like my favorite snack, I have 2 snacks. One is if I'm in the savory mood, it's always like veggies with hummus.
Nice.
And then if I'm in a sweet mood, it'll always be like apples with almond butter. I love that.
Okay.
Mhm.
So where are you at on things like tofu, tempeh, seitan,
Oh yeah.
kind of like those things? Yeah.
I love all that.
Okay.
I just am so bad at cooking tofu that anytime that I go to any restaurant, that's my go-to thing.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you have an air fryer by any
I
chance?
do.
But dude, that thing is like the best for tofu.
I have not been able to optimize
Aw.
on there. I've made it and it comes out too sharp, and I like cut my mouth with it.
Oh dear. Okay. What kind of
Yeah.
tofu are you using?
Usually extra firm, even the one
Okay.
that's already like pressed.
Right. I'm going to put this on my follow-up list because I do have a quick YouTube video. It's like a minute long
Okay.
for how I use medium firm tofu
Okay.
and
Oh,
get that
okay.
crispy.
Yeah.
So it could be just the tofu type. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
That'd be
the air
great.
fryer is like Coach Zoe and I both are obsessed with it pretty much. Like we're not brand ambassadors or anything, but we might as well be.
But you should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and especially for protein sources though. So crispy tempeh, you could throw chickpeas in there and make them like roasted chickpeas in a couple
Mhm.
minutes. And the tofu, I usually add some sauce or something after the fact because I don't want it to burn. So I just do the actual tofu by itself and then I add like peanut sauce or soy sauce or something. Okay, and I'm going to put workouts times 2. Okay, so have you ever tracked your food? Have you looked at how many grams of protein you're getting?
I have, but not in any accurate way. I think it's just hard. Yeah, like this many chickpeas in this salad. Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass. I will
Yeah.
not sugarcoat it. Tracking food is a pain in the ass. However,
Mhm.
we as humans are not walking around with protein calculators in our brains.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many grams of protein I've had today. I mean, I could guesstimate
Mhm.
unless I've tracked it.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be chained to an app for the rest of my life because that
Yeah.
is not feasible, obviously. So we kind of use it as a short-term thing. Like, okay, 3 days, we're just going to commit, do the
Okay.
thing,
And then
do your
have
best,
an
3
idea.
days, see where you're at. Yeah, and you might find it's totally cliche, of course, in the vegan world, but you might find that you're low on protein, in
Mhm.
which case add in more of those really concentrated sources and then track again maybe in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we're not using it as a continuous
As like every day
yeah,
you're
yeah, because it's
doing.
really
Okay.
not
I like
feasible.
that.
Yeah, but it's very helpful. It'll show you what percentage of your overall fuel is coming from protein.
Mhm.
I think if you're going to do that, it makes sense to have a goal though, like not just randomly track and be like, well, I don't know if that's enough protein or not. Like, I think it makes sense to aim for a certain amount.
Yep.
Do you have a goal? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Well, I think I had looked at some studies where above like I think it was zero point 0.6 or 0.7 grams per is it kilogram or per pound that they do it for?
It probably is per pound if it's for active people.
Yeah, per pound. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say at least that amount.
Hmm. Yeah. See, the thing that we hear a lot is 0.8 grams per kilo.
Oh, okay.
But there's 2 caveats there. One is it's for sedentary people, so no activity. And 2, it's a minimum amount to prevent health issues. It's not like an RDA we're supposed to hit.
Okay.
So it's a bit different from other things like zinc or iron or whatever that have like ideal amounts we're supposed to hit.
Okay.
This is like, don't go below this number or you might run into issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you want, let me just share my screen here real quick. I actually
Mhm.
pulled up the calculator in case you wanted it. Okay. Can you see this thing on my screen?
Yeah.
So if we put in your info here,
Mhm.
it's going to give you an estimate of how many grams of protein you need every day.
Okay.
So you're vegetarian, presumably, not fully vegan, but like
Yeah.
plant-based, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you currently in like leaning out mode or are you kind of in maintenance mode?
What's leaning out mode?
Losing weight or like affecting body composition?
I mean, trying to affect body composition, but not very focused on that.
Right. Okay. Let's just leave it at no. It's basically like if you're in a calorie deficit,
Okay.
if you're consciously eating less than you burn in a day specifically for fat loss, then
Oh
it's got
yeah,
a little
no,
thing
no,
there for it. Okay.
no.
And what's your body weight?
My body weight, I can tell you in kilograms. It's 50,
Oh, sure.
58 kilograms.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Good thing this thing has kilos and pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, now in the workout department, what are we going to say here? So probably
High?
somewhere
Yeah,
between,
between moderate and high.
yeah, so moderate is 3 to 4 workouts per week. High is
Oh, moderate.
intense workouts 3 to 4 times a week or every day.
Yes, I don't know, either moderate or high.
Yeah, it's kind of between, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, high would be daily workouts or
Okay.
intense sessions 3 to
So
4
let's say about
times.
100 then.
Yeah. So if we say moderate is 89, just round it up to 90.
90. Yeah.
And if you increase your lifting days, if you just like up the ante a little bit, high would be 102.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's just do 80 plus 102. That's 182. So the average is 91.
Okay. Well, okay. We can aim for around there.
Is that right? Did I do the math wrong? 102 plus, oh, I did it wrong. 102 plus 90, not 80.
Mhm.
It's 192 divided by 2. Okay, so the average is 96.
Okay.
That makes more sense. I'm like, that's too
Yeah.
close to the low side.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so somewhere around 95 to 100 grams a day would make sense.
Okay, I'm going to try to track a couple of days.
Is a decent amount of protein, right? I'm going to guess based on the fact that a lot of your items are legumes,
Mm-hmm.
lentils, chickpeas, hummus. Those are higher in carbs than they are in protein, which is
Mm-hmm.
not a bad thing. I'm not saying carbs are bad because they're not.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're aiming for a higher amount as an active person
Mm-hmm.
and as someone who needs to recover from workouts and not be sore all the time,
Mm-hmm.
it could be interesting to see where you're at. And you know what? It might be pretty close. You might be at like 75 or 80, which sounds like it's really far away from 100, but that's one protein shake. And then you're there.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
No, I'm probably low.
You think so? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have
we'll
a
see.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're not cooking tofu regularly, maybe. But you have the basic structure, though, of your diet.
Yeah.
And presumably you do some level of food prep.
Yep.
So I'm not concerned that you're not like getting the nutrients you need, but the protein piece is important for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that should be my focus. I should just learn to make tofu. Yeah.
I'll set you up. Don't worry. I'll send you a link. Also, we do have a little 1-page like protein cheat sheet kind of thing.
Okay.
Just as a PDF. I can send you that too. It's got some ideas like, you ever come across fava bean tofu?
I have not seen that.
Okay, 91% of the calories in that stuff is straight up protein.
Oh.
It's insane.
What?
So you get like one block, which is actually smaller than a block of regular tofu, but one block of this fava bean stuff has 64 grams of protein in it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's insane.
We need to.
I get mine at Save On. It's just like normal grocery store. It's in the tofu section. Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay. Yeah. What are your thoughts on these like chickpea or lentil pastas?
Oh, huge fan. Huge fan. Yeah. They're literally one ingredient. They're basically whole foods.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
And they're, as you see, they're insanely high in protein, like 24 grams of protein in just one serving.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put some other stuff on there, nutritional yeast, tofu chunks, little, veggie chicken strips, whatever. You could have like 35 to 40 grams of protein in one meal.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Anna, I will let you go, but I'll follow up. So I'll send you a couple workout ideas, protein ideas.
So excited. Thank you so much.
And you keep me posted too, hey? Like, let me know how it goes. If there's questions that come up, you know where to find me. Thanks so much for booking in, Anna. Great to speak with you. Next, I'm sharing my call with Rebecca. We talked about body composition, portion sizes, protein, and more. How are things? Whereabouts in the world are you?
Pennsylvania, United States.
Pennsylvania. What's the vegan situation in your area of Pennsylvania?
Locally, not good. We don't have a lot, but not far, like Philadelphia or New York, places like that. It's good.
That makes sense. Are you in a kind of a smaller area?
Yeah, like Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. It's kind of like the Poconos, and so you don't really go to eat out. Well, we have Wegmans, and they have a lot to offer, so that's really nice. We don't have Whole Foods. We don't have Trader Joe's.
Oh. Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm in a tiny little town, and we don't have any. I mean, we have like the normal grocery stores, but not Whole Foods.
Yeah.
None of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I hear you on that. Anyway, so what are we going to chat about? You mentioned menopause, weight loss, the whole adventure.
That definitely, with the vegan options, having a hard time of losing, I would say, with menopause in the last 5 to 7 years, I'm probably up at least 20 pounds, and it just stays with me. I could fluctuate 5 in the winter. It'll go up and down like 5 or 6, but it's like a consistent 20, and it's, just walking around with that weight is unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I do really anything really different or strange. I'm like a bulk eater. Like, I eat healthy, but I eat large.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I'm like the Sam's Club. I like to eat like a lot. And I don't like to get started because I know once I start eating, I'm just going to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. So it's like, I'd like to get it more in like, I love people who could just eat a portion. I don't know how to eat a portion. I mean, I eat a portion for lunch because that's just what I take to work.
That's just outsmarting your own brain at that point. So that's good.
But eventually, you come back home or something and it's like, I could eat really healthy. I mainly eat really healthy. I would say it's sad that I would gain weight from oats. Like I can't have granola in my house because I would eat that whole bag of granola. I can't just eat the oats. Or fruit, I could eat like I wouldn't get a big container of grapes because I could eat that whole thing of grapes. Or like my 20 pounds is probably from really healthy things.
Yeah, I hear you. It's one of those things where like, okay, technically it's a math equation. So technically we could lose 20 pounds eating nothing but chocolate, or we could gain 20 pounds eating nothing but kale if the calories were at a certain point. Now, obviously that doesn't look at health effects, right? But just as a theoretical, thought experiment, it really is just about overall volume of energy, of calories. And yes, of course, it's important where they come from. But in terms of weight gain or weight loss, our bodies don't care.
No.
Could be kale, could be chocolate, could be oats, could be all three. So yeah, I hear you on that. Hey, so a couple questions for you then. Where are you at in terms of protein? Are you thinking about lots of protein density options that are more protein dense than beans?
Yeah, I have just extremely recently, like in the past month, have upped my protein and I can definitely feel a difference. Like it's definitely makes a change. It's just really hard to find clean protein. I don't mind the powder. I could, if I had a cleaner, more economical powder, I could add that to my oats. Every single night I make my own like vegan ice cream with the protein powder. I like to have that. I up my lunch to more of the tofu for the higher protein, and the other ones, what's like one or two of the other ones.
Seitan or tempeh.
Yeah, the seitan. I enjoy the powder, adding it to everything. And yeah, it is like the first thing I've touched on that has made me, sometimes feel a little fuller.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we just make sure is covered. Like it's so cliche in the plant-based world, obviously, like OMG, protein, right? But it's important just generally, right? Especially if we're active. And that was my next question. So don't let me forget that. But it's also important in menopause specifically, like our needs for protein increase as we get older. Absorption, making sure that we're maintaining muscle mass, not losing it, all that kind of stuff. So it is like, it's definitely on the radar more than it would be otherwise. And we're not talking about 18 protein shakes a day. We're not talking anything like gym bro ridiculous
level. It's gotta be good
level.
with that because I like bulk. If you told me I could have, if I had 18 shakes, I would be okay. I'll do that.
You'd be like, all right, sign me up for that.
I could lose weight doing that. I'd be okay. I'd be full.
All right then. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is out of the 3 macros, carbs, fats, proteins, per calorie, protein keeps us the most satiated. So that's why I'm always touching on protein. I don't want to like harp on it, but it is important for many reasons. And feeling full is one of those reasons. So I would keep focusing on that and just experimenting like high protein pasta, like the noodles that are made out of chickpeas or red lentils.
Oh, that was the other one that we do. We love, what's the soybean, the edamame. So we'll buy the pasta made out of that. Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's insanely high in protein. And then if you add something else to it, like tofu or nutritional yeast or what have you, you could easily have like 30 to 40 grams of protein just in one meal, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I could do that. I have to be careful though, because then even though it's the same thing, the pasta, it goes in large quantities. So it's like I'm not the biggest on making, like if I sat down and I just air fried that, tofu comes in that huge blocks, I could just eat that whole block. So it's like, the same as you said with the chocolate. I could gain 20 pounds just eating that whole thing of tofu every day.
Well, maybe that's the challenge then is, have you ever tracked your food? Like, have you looked at MyFitnessPal or chronometer or anything like that?
I have done those, but they get quite annoying with me. So it's like
Yes.
I could
Yes.
eat the same thing every day if it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Monday through Friday I do really well because it's work, and so you only have so much time and stuff. But then when
Mm-hmm.
you get to like the weekends and you add in the variety, that's where I kind of it's just larger. It's not anything unhealthy. It's just larger amounts.
Makes sense. Yeah. I was going to ask what your physical activity looks like, if anything, at this point. Like, how does that factor into nutrition or goals or anything?
I think my activity's good. A mile walk every morning with the dog. Then
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday, a 3 mile walk on lunch. I would say I'm either running after work. So 3 days a week, I run 5 miles. And then the others are usually weights. So I would say 3 to 4 days a week is probably medium to heavy weights, about, I don't know, 30 to 40 minutes.
Hey, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, weights are fun. That's easier. I mean, I've got that menopause frozen shoulder, but
Oh,
you
no.
just yeah, it's fine. You just keep working around. You just keep doing it. It's not like it's not going to go anywhere. So why not just keep lifting?
I know. I got a shoulder issue too. It's been forever. It's not frozen shoulder, it's biceps tendonitis.
Okay,
So it's in the front of my shoulder. It's been like 3 years. It's
you
ridiculous. So
just
it's not
keep
just like,
going.
I'm going to work around it. Yeah. You know what? Whatever. It can hang out, do its
It's
thing.
yeah, you just get used to it. Yeah, working out and is never a thing, but then it probably adds to you wanting to eat more too.
Yes. Well, and it also adds to your protein requirements because if you sat on your ass and didn't train at all, you wouldn't need as much.
No.
So it's kind of related to multiple things like getting the results from your workouts, getting the physique results you want, feeling full. It's all just kind of circular, right? It feeds into itself kind of thing. Do you have a protein goal? Do you want one? Would that be something that's useful?
Yeah, I would. Looking at stuff, I always thought my protein goal was like probably close to 100, 110. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd be okay with a protein goal too.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick look. I think I can share my screen here. Okay. I'll give you the URL. You can fiddle around with this later too. It's just on our website. But we made it specifically for plant-based people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes into account your training and your body weight, whether you're vegan or vegetarian, all that kind of stuff. So let's put yes for calorie deficit because the goal right now is leaning out,
Yes.
right? And then presumably you're plant-based.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, now in terms of body weight, it's not the be all end all. Do you have a range that you're aiming for?
Yeah, I used to be most of my life. I spent at like 105. I'd like to be 110.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's put that in. Okay, now, given what you've told me about workouts, let's see here. It's probably, I'd say high, right? So this says daily workouts.
I do have a desk job. I always wonder about that because I put high because
Yeah,
I do so much, I think, maybe compared to other people, but I do sit like, I don't know. I feel like I sit way too much. I sit like 7 hours a
I hear
day,
you on that.
maybe 6.
Yeah, well, me too, which is weird as a fitness coach.
But I guess when I look at what other people do in life, I guess I'm high, right?
hmm Well, and going by this description too, you're doing 3 to 4 lifting sessions plus running, and those are on different days, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I would consider that daily workouts
yeah,
or the inverse. Well, not inverse, but the other option is intense workouts 3 to 4 times a week. So I would say that's
yeah.
pretty much where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
If we get into like very high or extra high, that's when people have active jobs and they train.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I'm not at that point, right? Even though I hang out on a bike desk for part of my day, that doesn't really count. Yeah. So it is about 100. This says 96.6.
Okay.
That's pretty close. Yeah, 100. I mean, your calorie needs are going to dictate what percentage of your calories are going to have to come from protein.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone who has 3,000 calories to work with, let's say, as an example, they don't really have to think about protein that much because they're going to get it by default
Mm-hmm.
just by eating, right? But someone who's really, really restricted and is only doing, I don't know, like 1,400 calories a day or something, they still have to get 100 grams of protein. It's going to take up a lot more of their daily calories.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be something to look into, is like, well, what are your calorie needs? And then what percentage of that fuel has to come from protein?
Yeah, I get that part.
But barring that, I'm all about outsmarting my own brain, as you probably know. So, like, my husband hides treats, so I have no idea where they are in the house. And I have 4 different workout buddies, so it's all accountability. Like, I started a freaking swim club so that I'm consistent with my own swimming. Like, it's all just outsmarting my own brain. And I wonder if or how we might use that in terms of food amount and moderation and internal cues when you're feeling full. You know, this whole Japanese concept of eating until you're 80% full.
Yeah, I'm 100% for all that. It's like, but I like, except for like if it was a like Thanksgiving or something weird, I don't think I've ever feel full. I'm like, I want to feel full. It's like, and like I don't. So it's like very, very rare occasions. And even when I feel like, oh, it's Thanksgiving and I feel way, way, way too full, I'll like find something else to eat. And I'm like, you're way, way, way too full, but you're going to find something else. So it's like the cues are hard. I think I'm more with you with until maybe once you ate smaller, you would get used to feeling full. But because I eat so
you're probably right. Yeah.
that I'm not used to it. So I think going where you said to trick the brain with some kind of techniques until you get to the point that you could start to feel full on less.
That's a genius plan.
Yeah.
You outsmart your brain until you're comfortable with the situation. And then it's almost like you don't have to outsmart it anymore. It's like tracking food, right? You've said it's annoying. It sure is. It's not a long-term game at all. Tracking food is a pain in the ass. Like, you can't sugarcoat it. But the point of tracking food is to get to a place where you don't have to track anymore, right? Where you kind of just can feel, okay, so this is what it's like to get 100 grams of protein a day or whatever the goal is. I feel like that's the same thing here.
Yes.
Where whatever methods you can use, some people use smaller plates so it looks more full. Some people, people have gone to great lengths. We have a client who has a cupboard in the kitchen because he's got 2 young kids who are always like bringing friends home, and they have snacks and candy and chips and whatever. He just cannot handle it. So he's got a cupboard in the kitchen with a combination lock on it. Everyone in the house except for him knows what the combo is.
I like that.
Like, it's pretty smart. It's totally outside the box, but it works.
Same thing with tricking yourself. It's like, I need that ice cream every night. Well, I figured out how to make the ice cream on my own so I could have the entire pint for like 300 calories. That's high protein. So it's like, well, for 300 calories, I could have ice cream every single night. Then I feel better. Like,
there you
so
go.
it's
that's totally it.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. It's finding, like what you're saying, how to just dissect the whole day and figure out every trick on each area.
That's exactly right. But we also know that lunch at work works.
Yeah, that's easy. Because I just take a big chunk of tofu and some fruit and I'm good. So like what you're saying, with the trick probably would be to work in a vegetable instead of the fruit. Because,
well, maybe.
Yeah, well, it would be lesser. Green grapes could be quite high, or some of or a banana could be hot, and that's only going to spike your sugar to make you want to eat more anyway. Whereas something else that was more stable would probably make it easier.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like, maybe let's look at the makeup of those lunches, right? Make sure we've got veggie and fruit content would be a good place to go. But also, how can you recreate that situation at home?
Yeah, that is.
Or at least something adjacent,
Yeah, it is, because it's by the time you get home, it's dinner. You've got to cook for other people too, and then you're tired. So it's like, well, that's where, like, when you sit down, you could be having something healthy, like we said, with the edamame pasta, but then my portion is this big.
Yeah. I'm going to have to follow up on the book title. I just can't remember because it's been years since I've read it. But there was a book that's all about this, like using your environment to trick your brain into eating less, smaller plates, and just like, there was a lot more to it. And the types of food you're eating, how long it takes to eat, the types of utensils, using chopsticks instead of a fork. Like, I have to look up what this was because I can't, it's just kind of in the back of my brain at this point, but I think I did a blog post about it, so I can look it up and then
Yeah, that
send you the
chopsticks,
name of that
that's a
book.
good, that's definitely a good one because I am also like, even though it's a bulk eater, I also am very fast. So it's like, so you
Aha.
just keep
Yep,
going. So something like
totally.
tricking with a chopstick or something is going to make you slow down. Then you just quit because you just don't want to do it anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. Or the food that you have to chew a lot. It's just more work,
Mm-hmm.
like a giant salad versus mac and cheese, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. I mean, we're not just going to subsist on salads and nothing else, but it could be part of the outsmarting your own brain
Yeah,
conversation.
that one could send you over the edge when you probably
Yeah.
know when you're vegan and everybody's like, would you like salad? No, I don't like salad, but thank you. No,
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I don't want a plate of
no,
iceberg
I don't
lettuce.
like
Thanks.
salad.
You got something a little more interesting? Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of a cool idea. Using the concept of outsmarting your brain instead of like self-discipline, willpower, that shit is finite anyways. We have finite resources. And after a long day at work, you're getting home, you have to cook for other people, willpower and self-discipline, at least for me, are out the window.
Hmm.
So we have to rely on other things like the lock on the cupboard in the kitchen, or the husband who puts the Oreo box somewhere you don't know where it is, like anything along those lines. But also maybe this mindfulness concept. You mentioned eating slower,
Hmm.
being more in touch with our internal cues. It reminds me of a really interesting study that happened a couple years back where they looked at people in North America, so the US and Canada, and people in Europe, I think mostly around France, but also some other European countries. And they asked participants, how do you know that you're done eating? And people in North America said, when my show ends, when my friends stop eating, when my plate's empty,
When I need to go to
right?
bed.
Yeah, basically. And people in Europe said, oh, when I feel like I've had enough food or when my stomach feels full. And it was all internal.
Hmm.
And so some of this might be related to the French paradox, which is why are there such low rates of obesity there, but they're eating cream and baguettes and pastries all the time? It's amounts. It's overall calories, moderation. What does the rest of the diet look like? Anyway, so that kind of thing, like focusing on our internal cues more,
Hmm.
is hard to do.
No, I agree. And I think with America too, we're probably adding a lot of stuff too. I mean, maybe the
Yeah,
protein
that's
powder
true.
probably has a few things in sometimes when they're doing things like natural flavors, that
Yeah, that's
make it
possible. Yeah.
into like a food addiction where other, countries definitely don't have those kind of things, which would be nice if ours got there, but it's not.
Well, this is the hard thing too, is that our whole society is not set up to create by default healthy humans.
No.
We're the weird ones,
Yeah.
lifting heavy weights and running and taking the dog for a walk every day. Like,
Hmm.
that's not quote unquote normal, right? We're the outliers who are active regularly. We're the weirdos who are doing food prep.
Well, I don't work well with food prep. I should need to get into that. That would be helpful to trick in the brain too, because if it's already made,
There you go.
for the week for dinners and stuff, that would be a lot easier.
100%. You could even like go so far as to portion it into separate containers, be like, this is Monday's dinner, this is Tuesday's dinner,
Hmm.
potentially kind of like bringing it to work.
Yeah, well, yeah, that because it's so simple. I don't need to be fancy. I just cut a piece of chunk off tofu, and I'm happy with lunch. There it was. I'd rather
That's
do the
awesome.
3 mile walk and just eat a chunk of tofu.
That's spoken like a true vegan.
But yeah, until you're alone at home at night and you're like, oh, that looks so good.
Right. Are you in a non-vegan household?
No, it's just my son and I, and he's a vegetarian. He would probably, no, I don't know if he'd be vegan. By my choice, it's just easier for me to hit his nutrition goals by doing things like eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a problem. He eats whatever I eat like for dinner. So, like I said, if I'm making the edamame pasta, we'll make lentil tacos, things like that. Whatever we're making, he'll just eat.
Wonderful. That makes it easy. Okay, well, what are your main experiments or action items at this point, would you say?
I think what we just talked about, I think that I would definitely hit up getting some habits in place to help with the dinners,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I could easily achieve what I want to achieve with the lunches. The breakfast is never a problem. I could add protein powder, get the 100 of protein. I think keep on the protein goal,
Mm-hmm.
try to up it. And then if I could just fine tune those evenings and dinners, I think I could get to where I want to be, and obviously get into those through, tricks, and spend some time thinking of what that should look like, whether it's meal prep, whether it's using chopsticks, all the above, getting a quit time for dinner. Well, with kids, it's hard because you're eating so late half the time, but yeah, getting quit times and
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
I think that's awesome. Here's a random thing I can put on the table. Would it help if I checked in with you in like 3 or 4 weeks, being like, hey, Rebecca, what's going on? How are the habits? Like just a little poke.
Sure.
I mean, no pressure at all. But if it would help, if it would be a positive kick in the butt,
We could look into it.
okay. And I mean, like, I'd give it some time, right? Because you want to do some experimenting, you want to try out some things.
Mm-hmm.
This is all one big experiment, anyways.
It is.
This whole fitness and nutrition thing, even for professional athletes, giant experiment. And it's always going to be that way.
Well, I think a lot of vegans are succeeding at it now, so it's nice.
That's true. Definitely. But we're always fine tuning things too, though, right? Like we can change little things about our training, or we can try a new ingredient that comes out, or
Yeah, I love it.
what have you. It keeps it interesting. It's never going to be boring. Okay, well, why don't I check in with you? Let me just look at my calendar here. What would be helpful for you? 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Yeah, we could try 3.
Yeah. Got a little mini calendar here. So we're at the 13th of November. So we're looking at December 4th. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
December 4th. Just quick email like, hey, how's it going? What's the status report?
We could do that.
Wonderful. Other follow-up that I can do for you, food related or otherwise?
No, that was helpful. It's a start of getting me thinking of things. And, if you see that book or anything, send it over.
Oh, yes. I'm going to write that down right now. Oh, and speaking of books, is Stacy Sims on your radar?
I'm not positive.
Okay, so she's a researcher, physiology, I think, specific to females, and even more specific to perimenopause and postmenopause.
Okay.
And she works a lot with really high-level athletes, but she writes books for general population, active females. So she has one book that's called Roar, which is for women in general. And then she has another one that I'm reading right now that's called Next Level,
Okay.
about perimenopause, postmenopause specifically.
Nice.
It's super interesting. Her whole shtick is women are not small men. And all the research that's been done usually is with male participants.
No, I agree with that.
Right? On like metabolism and training and nutrition and you name it. It's all dudes. So she's changing that and looking at research on women and how we're different and specific to healthy aging and staying active and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, put that on the radar. It's really excellent. And yeah, I will look up that other one, the Trick Your Brain.
Trick Your Brain.
I wish it was called that. It's not actually, but I'll look it up.
All right.
Awesome. Well, nice to speak with you, Rebecca. I will check in with you on December 4th. And anything that comes up, questions, you know where to find me. Shoot me an email anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Rebecca, so great to speak with you. Thanks for booking in. Access our show notes at nobullshitvegan.com/197, where you can sign up for my insider newsletter that gives you exclusive access to things like free coaching calls, book giveaways, and of course, tips for vegan world domination. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to the No Bullshit Vegan podcast at nobullshitvegan.com.